Hi guys, Harry here, and the Kanto region is the Pokemon Company's favourite region. Of course, because it was the first one, and there were so many memories along with that the whole franchise, no other game, the Johto games, the Hoenn games, the Sinnoh games, going on into the spin-offs like the Ore region and the Hisui region, that wouldn't have happened if Red, Blue, Green, if they didn't work out. But with how well the Kanto games did, and with the Pokemon's Company really liking that region, have we just been playing through Kanto this whole time? Well, this video is going to answer that question. But before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe, also leave a like and comment down below, and let's get into the video. So, of course, we start off, I'll go through the games in chronological order. Now, this is just going to go over the main series games, not the side games, but I don't know, maybe I'll do that in another video. But let's start off with the games that everyone agrees takes place in Kanto. So that is Red, Blue, Yellow, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and the Japanese exclusive Green. Now everyone agrees that they all take place in Kanto. And everyone is right. They all take place in Kanto, and there's no debate on that. But this video is going over why I think the other games have been just taking place in Kanto, and we've been playing through Kanto this whole time. So let's move on to the Johto games of Gold, Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. Now these games are supposed to be just a lead on from Kanto. Pokemon makes it quite known that Kanto and Johto are regions right next to each other, and that is seen most through the post-game, the most known part of the post-game, in which the whole of that quest takes place in Kanto. Now, you've just had half the game in one region and then basically played the other half in Kanto. And it doesn't stop there, with the gym leaders' Pokemon mostly being Kanto Pokemon. There are only 4 times where the Johto gym leaders actually use Johto Pokemon. There's Whitney with her Miltank, Jasmine with her Steelix, although Steelix is an evolution of a Kanto Pokemon, Onix, Price's Pillow-Swine, and Claire's Kingdra. Now, that is just, well, really 3 Pokemon, because Steelix is an evolution of a Kanto Pokemon. But all the other Pokemon we've seen, and that is just those gym leaders' aces, they all use Kanto Pokemon otherwise. And that is insane. I mean, this is supposed to be the new region, and yet all the gym leaders that we look up to can't use Kanto Pokemon. And it doesn't stop there with the gym leaders. The Elite Four members are basically just rehashes from the Kanto games. Of course, we have Bruno and Koga. Bruno was an Elite Four member in the Kanto games, and he is in the Johto games. And Koga was a gym leader in the Kanto games, and he is an Elite Four member in the Johto games. And also, it doesn't stop there, because the champion of this region, Lance, was an Elite Four member in the Kanto games, and now he is the champion in the Johto games. And also, there is that theory that Will is actually Lorelei, who has gone, like, through transgender surgery or something, but that's a whole can of worms for another time. And also, then, at the end, after fighting through all the Kanto gym leaders that we have seen in the Kanto games, apart from Koga is replaced by Janine, but again, we mentioned Koga is an Elite Four member in the Johto games, that you battle yourself. You battle Red, and he is on the Johto side of this whole map, which just makes it even more that the Johto games are more like Kanto. You're travelling through Kanto. And that is without bringing up the real world significance of these regions. So what you might not know, but most of you probably will know, is that Kanto is based off Japan, and also so is Johto. And it's not just Johto, Hoenn and Sinnoh are also based off Japan as well, and they're real world cities in that. But I will come back to Hoenn and Sinnoh later. But again, Johto is based off Japan just like Kanto is. And also, you go in a circle, you come back to your hometown or New Barktown, just like you come back to Viridian City in the Kanto games, you come back to your hometown in the Johto games, which makes it even stronger that we've just travelled through Kanto again. And again, it doesn't stop with Johto. Now, Johto is the region with the most similarities to Kanto, but it doesn't stop there. We have the Hoenn games of Ruby, Sapphire and Emerald, in which the Kanto remakes come out at the same time as these Hoenn games. And in the timeline that we see, that was on a Twitter post, I think, the Hoenn games happen at the same time as the Kanto games, which makes it that much clearer that there's a link between them, with the remakes coming out at the same time as these Johto games, and the timeline actually in the in-game universe matching up as them happening at the same time. And again, Hoenn is based off Japan, and of course Kanto is as well. And it doesn't stop there. Again, there are some similarities in the gym leaders. There's a rock-type gym at the start, just like there is in Kanto, with a Geodude, just like the first Pokemon in the gym is in Kanto. And also, when we get to the third gym in Hoenn, the Electric Gym, apart from in Emerald, all of the Pokemon are Kanto Pokemon. And that just doesn't seem to make sense in a new region with a lot more Pokemon than it had in the Johto region. There's a lot more Pokemon, so why aren't they all Hoenn Pokemon? And the links to Kanto don't stop there, as when you enter the Cave of Origin in Ruby and Sapphire, there is no background music, there's no music playing. And in Fire Red and Leaf Green, when you travel to Birth Island, there is no background music there either, making the links between Hoenn and Kanto even closer, that you've just travelled through Kanto again. Now we move on to the Sinnoh games of Diamond, Pearl and Platinum, and when the Sinnoh games came out, the Johto remakes also came out the same time as the Sinnoh games. And in the timeline, the Sinnoh games happened the same time as the Johto games, which makes the parallels to Kanto again even stronger. And it doesn't stop there, because in the gym leaders, there are a lot of similarities between the Kanto gym leaders and the Sinnoh gym leaders. Again, the first gym leader we see is a rock type gym leader, and he has a Geodude and an Onix as well as a Cranidos, but that is exactly the same minus the Cranidos, that exactly the same team that Brock has, a Geodude and an Onix. And the similarities don't stop there. Both have a grass type gym, both have a water type gym, both have an electric type gym, and yeah, that might not be a lot of gyms, but the parallels are quite insane that this is going through. That is 4 gyms that are the same in Kanto as in Sinnoh, and again, the real world geography plays out as Sinnoh is based off Japan. But now we move on to the Unova games, which are Black, White, Black 2 and White 2. And this is the first region that isn't based off a city in Japan, so this won't factor into the equation. But I still think that this region is basically Kanto, as the Unova region was designed to be a soft reboot, designed to be like Kanto, right down to the new Pokemon that were made. There are 155 new Unova Pokemon, compared to Kanto's 151 Pokemon, but Genesect wasn't added straight away, I think, so there was actually 1 154, and there were Maltan and Malmetal actually included later in Pokemon, which were carried into the Kanto Pokedex. So there are actually 154/155 to Kanto's 151/153. Now that is mega similar. I mean, there is literally really a difference from 4 to 2, I think, and that is insane, the amount of Pokemon. They're almost identical, and it doesn't just stop there. The Unova games were designed to be a soft reboot of Kanto. Again, no older gen Pokemon until obviously the sequels of these games, but in the anime that made it basically clear to all the fan base that this was a soft reboot of the show. Ash Ketchum was like it was starting on his first adventure again.
The Kanto region's Pallet Town, home to this young man, 10-year-old Ash Ketchum, a Pokemon trainer dreaming of one day becoming a Pokemon master.
Let's catch a Pokemon! You don't get it. You act like a little kid. If you want to catch it, you've got to battle it.
Just like he did in the Kanto region all those long years ago. And again, that just brings too many similarities between these Unova games and these Kanto games. It's like we've travelled through this region before. And now we come to the 6th generation, the Kalos region, with the games X and Y. And in X and Y, there are parallels to Kanto, as you get gifted a Kanto starter shortly after the first gym. And that is insane. And it doesn't stop there. There are 5 gym leaders who use Kanto Pokemon or evolutions of Kanto Pokemon. There are literally so many to list. Just for example, there is Ramos, and he uses a Weaving Bell. There is also Karina, who uses a Monchoke. There is also Valerie, who uses a Sylveon, an evolution of a Kanto Pokemon Eevee. There are just so many similarities between the Kalos region and the Kanto region. Again, a bit less similarities than past regions, but again, there's enough to be like that. We've played through this region again. Basically, the biggest thing is the starter Pokemon. You get a Kanto starter. And finally, we move into the final games, in which I think that we basically just travelling through the Kanto region again, which are the games Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Again, Kanto remakes came out the same time as these Alola games. The games of Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee came out the same time as Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Well, just after, but again, it's like they are linked. And again, the amount of islands in Alola are the same as the amount of islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green, the Sevi Islands. There are 5 in total if you count Aether Paradise as an island, and if you count the Sevi Event Islands of Naval Rock and Birth Island. Now that is insane. So they had 5 islands in the Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, and they had 5 islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And not only that, they kind of follow a similar path. It's because, of course, you have 1 island, 2 island, 3 island, and all of those in the Alola games, you go in a set order, like you do in the for the Sevi Islands in Fire Red and Leaf Green. And I just think there are so many parallels to that. But that is just my thoughts on this. I think we have travelled through Kanto for way too long, and I am so glad that Sword and Shield didn't follow a similar thing like the past games, and I really hope Scarlet and Violet will continue to branch off and make their own strides. But that is just my thoughts. Let me know down in the comments below if you agree, if you think that these games are linked to the Kanto region, or if you think we broke off from Kanto a long time ago. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, also subscribe, and share it out. And I will see you in the next one.